Tonight, I'm broadcasting from a kitchen on Comic Book Canon. Welcome to Comic Book Canon. It is Friday. It's been another long week living this pandemic life, but we are happy to have you all here. We are happy to be discussing comic books and everything related to comic books. I am happy to be here with my partner in crime, Chris. How are you, buddy?
What is going on? What's going on, chat? I want to give a big shout out, to everyone in the chat, but I want to give a special shout out to Kid Collector Comics. We already gave him a shout out last week because he started his own channel, but I wanted to give him a shout out because I did a live stream and told everyone that I make music, and I left my website and he went and checked it out, and he just gave me an idea. And Jeff, maybe one day we can get down, but if you got some funky, fresh beats for me, I don't mind freestyling on the show sometimes. So
I'm a drummer, so I can provide that for you. And I love what he's provided us. The Comic Book Kitchen! Yeah. We are here in the Comic Book Kitchen. I am displaced from my comic book corner for the evening, but it'll still be just an excellent show, Chris, as always, right? We'll have a good time. Everybody chill out, kick back, enjoy the next hour or so, because we are going to talk comic book and comic book news. So, Chris, why don't we start off with some news you got?
All right, so a bit of some Twilight Zone news. Tatiana Maslany not playing She-Hulk. What is going on here? So Tatiana Maslany herself came out this week in an interview to state that when she was asked about the She-Hulk series, she stated, quote, that actually isn't a real thing, and it's like a press release that's gotten out of hand. It's totally not. I've been connected to these things in the past, and press has gotten onto it, but it's not actually a thing, unfortunately. Yeah, now what makes this really shocking and just extremely bizarre is this isn't one of those situations where you have, sources like, we got this covered, spewing the most random crap like Hugh Jackman's going to play Wolverine for 35,000 more years, stuff like that. We actually had official announcements from Deadline, from the head writer of the Disney Plus show herself, Jessica Gao, and from Mark Ruffalo tweeting, "Welcome to the family." So this is very strange. I think this is really new for anything Marvel Studios. It was maybe some other studio, something like this going on. It wouldn't be as shocking, but I mean, Marvel Studios has been solid. We've never seen something like this before. This makes me question, put up the question mark. Something's going on, right? And we're not knowing it. And at this point, we have to speculate what the heck is really going on.
Yeah, this is very strange. You never see something like this with Marvel. They're always buttoned up in everything that they do. But this is just weird because, you have these, these trades that are industry standards reporting that she's been signed on as She-Hulk. You have, again, what you said, the showrunner and Mark Ruffalo congratulating her. And now here we are, and there's just a bunch of confusion. So it's really unusual. Tom Tormey, could be money. It could be. Who knows? But that's just weird. And I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she still will be She-Hulk. And if they're just like they haven't officially signed off on everything, and she's just kind of pushing back on somebody that was asking her a question. Or they're going to cast another She-Hulk, but there will be a She-Hulk no matter what. And they need to have a She-Hulk soon because that show's going to be – apparently they're looking to start production in February 2021, which is just a few months away. So they really got to get to it. And I'm hoping that this gets resolved soon because I'm excited for the show.
Yeah. And hopefully some more truth does come out to where we don't have to sit here. And, I mean, it's kind of like, in anxiety building up in terms of us fans saying, can something like this happen with like the golden child of Marvel Studios? We don't want there to be any kind of bad blood going on or anything like that puts a stain on the ongoing success, or like you said, the buttoning up of everything just being so tightly knit and ran so smoothly. So But hey, could be a money issue. Could be maybe there's pressure from her people saying, look, because everything's not finalized, we just don't want to, give the definitive answer. I mean, who knows? Just fingers crossed that this isn't going to be a big ongoing issue.
Yeah, I'm okay. Either cast her or don't, but have somebody in place that we all love by February. It's not too much to ask, is it?
Definitely.
All right, but moving on to more casting news. It was just reported that Xochitl Gomez was cast in Doctor Strange, the Doctor Strange sequel. Xochitl Gomez is from the Netflix hit The Babysitter's Club. She is cast in a mysterious role. However, this mysterious role, a lot of people are speculating on because there are a few options that we can go here, different ways we can go here. We know Doctor Strange is going to explore the multiverse. We know that opens doors upon doors upon doors upon doors of possibilities, endless possibilities of things that could happen within the MCU. So a lot of people are speculating on one character, but there are actually two characters that Xochitl could be portraying, Chris. Those two characters are America Chavez and Zelma Stanton. So America Chavez, as most of you all know, she was first introduced in Vengeance 1 back in 2011. She's got a variety of superpowers. She goes by America, strictly just America sometimes, or Miss America. She can punch holes in between realities, which lets her travel across the multiverse. So that would be a kind of a key. That's why there's a strong possibility that she will be this character, America Chavez. However, other people are speculating that she could be Zelma Stanton. Zelma Stanton's a librarian, and she was first introduced in Doctor Strange #1, 2015. She was a librarian who acted as kind of like a sidekick in that kind of that story arc in that Doctor Strange series back in 2015. Now she's part of Strange Academy. So there's a variety of possibilities here, Chris. I personally would prefer to see America Chavez. You already got Kamala Khan, right, coming. You already got Kate Bishop is announced, not casted yet. Haley Stanfield, probably. You bring America Chavez, you got a nice core group of young Avengers because you're going young, you're going diverse, and again, these people could fit. You can place them into a young Avengers group, a Champions group, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You can look at this from a couple points of views. When you think about the film itself, the Multiverse of Madness, and you think of Sam Raimi directing, you think of, well, what kind of fits Sam Raimi more? And I think Sam Raimi tying in something to a Strange Academy and then having Sam Raimi direct a Strange Academy type film, because, Marvel likes to hold onto their directors for multiple films if they can. And I could definitely see something like that happening for Raimi. But you also got to look at the MCU, bringing in characters that are going to have, this longevity of a career playing this character for multiple films down the line. And it's going to go much farther beyond one director. And like you said, if we're looking at a young Avengers or a new Avengers or Champions, anything that can take in a America Chavez, that's a bigger setup for something else down the line. Mm-hmm. So I could see that happening as well. Both of these situations, I think, would be cool, and they can do so many different things with it. At this point, it can be neither of the two. Yeah. But I think these two are really solid specs to where if any of them played out, I think it would be awesome.
And speaking of spec, if you're looking for these characters' first appearance, you got Zelma Stanton in Doctor Strange #1, as we said, from 2015. Right, you can see that right here. And America Chavez is Vengeance #1. Vengeance #1 is going for $66 raw based on cover prices data, and $308 on average for 9.8. I'm seeing these prices kind of escalate, especially with this news. They're above these averages from the data that we have right now. Now, Zelma Stanton, Doctor Strange #1 is going for $4 raw, and they don't have any graded. They don't have any data on any grading for this book. I'm sure there are graded books out there, but they haven't seen that recently. So, again, if you're looking to kind of spec on these characters, these are the books to pick up. And as you know, Chris has the hot one, Vengeance #1. That's all I'm going to find.
Yeah, I got both of those. My Doctor Strange #1, I got in a 50-cent bin, and I'm not making this stuff up. Obviously, that book has no real value at this point. You can get it for cover price most likely, but we know how the spec game is. We know how people like to hop on these things.
Yep.
But keep a lookout for it. I mean, hey, cool. I got that in a 50-cent bin from Boys of Summer down the way around my town. And then this one I got probably around 2013 for I believe $1 because it was in another one of those bargain bins at another shop. You know, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I just like, hey, that's a cool cover, Magneto. I'll get it. So really nice high grade. I'd probably say maybe around a 9.4. Hey, again, obviously more of the Doctor Strange, but Vengeance. Dig through some crates, man. Dig through some bins and try to find those that are in shops or maybe flea markets somewhere to where they're not updating these prices week to week and catching on with that with the hotness of these spec books. So
Tom Tormey here, who we'll see his face in a little bit in the show here, but he brings up a good point. Doctor Strange is signed for Spider-Man 3 as a role model for Peter. I hope they're going to mention Uncle Ben once and for all. Who knows if that's going to happen? Well, we do know that Doctor Strange or Benedict Cumberbatch will be shooting his parts for Spider-Man 3 before they start shooting the Doctor Strange sequel. So these all can tie in some way because, again, the multiverse is going to open up so many possibilities. I want to say, hey, what's up to Planet Arizona Comic? He says, what's up, everyone? Good to be home in time to watch this for once instead of watching it on the replay. We are just very appreciative that you watch us to begin with, whether it be on the replay or live. So thanks for joining us, man. All right, but moving on, Chris, we have some more good news. Some more good news.
All right, Star Wars fans. You know me, I always get excited about Star Wars news. We got an announcement from Ewan McGregor himself stating, yes, production is beginning for the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series, and it will begin in March of 2021. Not too far away. McGregor did also confirm, which, you know, most of us knew, that this will follow the Obi-Wan Kenobi character in between the Revenge of the Sith films and the New Hope. So this is something that I think is really new and fresh within the Star Wars, either animated films or live action. We've never really had a live action production of the main characters outside of either the prequels or the original trilogy. And then, of course, you know, you had the original actors tie into the sequel trilogy. But outside of those main films, we've had animated series like the Clone Wars, which incorporated Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda and whatnot. But when you think about live action, you know, we had great mythos and expanding the universe with the Mandalorian. But this really shows us these main characters in live action building in between the stories that we grew up loving. So it's going to be a really fresh take to see, in my opinion. Another real cool thing that McGregor touched on too was he talked a little bit about preparing for his role when he was filming the prequels, of how he studied a young Alec Guinness, because he was obviously portraying a much younger Obi-Wan, and he really looked at the actor's early work to say, how would Alec Guinness play Obi-Wan if he himself was young? I just thought that was really cool to hear his story and how he kind of embodied the character. And he even talked about how he's going to jump into this role now, kind of in between those ages, and really embody the spirit of Alec Guinness that he brought to the table in the original films.
Yeah, man, I'm psyched to hear about this. I'm psyched to hear, like, again, you're right. This is kind of tying us into an original character from the original trilogy that was also in the prequel, encompassing 6 films. I'm really excited to see them exploring this story, because in between those, the prequel and the original trilogy, is 30 years of story they can be telling, right? There's a lot to tell there. And if it's with a character that you already have an affinity towards, such as Obi-Wan, it's going to be great. Like, you know, we may, you know, there's rumor that we may get a Boba Fett series as well, too. Granted, I think we're all a little drawn to Obi-Wan. We know him a little bit better, as to Boba Fett just looks cool and is a badass. But I'm super psyched for this series. I'm super psyched that it's moving along, that production's going to be moving along as well. Kid Collector's super psyched, too. I can't wait for the Obi-Wan series. I think it might end with him meeting Luke or getting Leia's message who knows? It could end a multitude of ways, or they may, be able to come up with another season, another couple seasons too. 30 years is a long, long time, so we shall see.
Absolutely.
But a movie that is in production currently right now that we just got some images from, we got Batman. Batman, people. As we all know, Robert Pattinson came down with the COVID and it halted production there. But they're back up and running, and we got some set pics this week, and that's pretty exciting. So as you can see, they're shooting in Liverpool, shooting all around town. So we got some nice pictures of Robert Pattinson here. I think it looks a little bit emo. Chris, feel free to interject here. You have a theory, or you're just saying it's his hair. And granted, a lot of these pictures, these are still images that don't really convey what a live action film will convey. So he may look completely different in moving around and all that stuff. So I'm not mad at that shot, Chris. It's all right? Again, these are pretty mundane, nothing exciting. However, the fact that we are starting to see production images come out of films that are highly anticipated is exciting. So we have Bruce Wayne here, aka Robert Pattinson. Looks like he's a shiner right there. Looks like he got punched in the face, got a little bruise under his eye. All good. And then he's driving some sort of a muscle car. Chris, what's your theory on this?
Yeah, well, I saw the original release when they showed the car the first time too. And looking at that, I'm gonna say it's a Dodge Challenger with some type of custom body kit thrown up on it. So
okay, all right. Look at it. It's a hot looking car. Speaking of hot, we got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. And she's definitely looking the part here, Selena Kyle. Loving the look here. She's not in costume, obviously, but hey, it's an image of the Batman set, and we're happy about that. And then we have Selena Kyle and Carmine Falcone, played by John Turturro. Nice to see him on set as well. And then this one's great. I mean, Colin Farrell is Penguin, and it's not that clear of an image. However, that does not look like Colin Farrell. So he's either gained a lot of weight and intentionally looks terrible, or the makeup artists are absolutely incredible on this film. All right, and then we saved the best for last here. We got Batman on a bike, right? Looking great in his costume, and people are speculating that this is Catwoman right next to him, Selena Kyle. And then we have Batman on a building in Liverpool. It's the Royal Liver Building. Looks like he's got some sort of starfish costume on. So, okay. These are all super exciting images. Super exciting to see that things are moving along for Batman here, Chris, after Robert Pattinson's kind of COVID ordeal. So very happy about this.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. I mean, he fills out that suit. He's got some nice chiseled jawline going on with the mask on. So I'm not mad at it. I do think the hair is really, I think, the standout that's throwing things off. Look, he's a younger kid, right? In this film, he's not matured yet. Yep. I can definitely see him getting a haircut at some point, but becoming a more mature Bruce Wayne. Another thing about the hair, though, which is interesting, I'm wondering, because we know that a lot of the storylines behind Batman always seem to take Batman and want to keep him in that old school era. You look at the animated series, and although it was modernized, the whole feel with the cars and the buildings was very, like 1930s, 1940s. Even Tim Burton's films, they had some of the older cars. They were very throwback. So maybe the hair is saying that, look, this is kind of a throwback to where we're not in the modern age here. I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm just trying to be more optimistic over the hair and not just call it this total emo look. So, yeah. But
I think we can all agree on the teaser that they showed us was absolutely, it was amazing. It was badass. Yeah. Tom Tormey, the preview WB showed over the summer was pulled from only 25% of the completed film. And if that's any indication, the movie's going to be nuts. I agree 100%. I thought it looks absolutely phenomenal. I thought they hit an amazing tone. Matt Reeves, I love everything he does, and I think he's going to he's gonna bring some credence to this character. My only problem with this is it's not in the DCEU proper. My only problem. Otherwise, I'm all on board with everything we've seen here. So have at that as you will. But those are some Batman set photos. I'm sure we're going to see more as they come in. And Chris, you have our last piece of news for this week. Make it a good one, Chris. Make it a good one.
Spider-Man, hey, it's droplets, but it's something. Spider-Man 3 filming is getting on its way. It's pretty much sealed, although no official announcements. There were filming listings released, and as of today, there are no official announcements, but everything points to the beginning phases of Spider-Man 3 filming. Tom Holland has been filming the Uncharted film this last week, so it's unlikely that he's done anything on the set yet. There's been no images or no announcements of any of the stars being on set, but hey, anything at this point is awesome. We did learn a couple weeks back that this film was supposed to start production towards the end of October. That seems to be happening. This is one of those films that hasn't had a huge pushback. It went from a summer release to a holiday release next year, 2021. And this is just a movie that I feel has to be released next year. No more hold ups. So to see this start to take off, oh man, because we've been hanging on it. And Jeff, this kind of hits home for you a little bit, huh?
Literally, I mean, this is the past two Spider-Man films have their production titles have been based off of Seinfeld quotes. This one is going to be Serenity Now, and this is the filming permit outside in Sunnyside, Queens, which is where I live currently. Now, I have seen some production folks earlier in the week. It's common to see a lot of filming going on here. A lot of TV shows, a lot of movies are done here. So that, I don't know if it was Spider-Man per se, but today this is the permit they have for today from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. I took a walk around, as I normally do in the mornings to get my day started, go to the coffee shop. I didn't see anything unusual happening. So I'm not sure exactly where this happened, but they are starting to shoot Spider-Man, and that is absolutely exciting, Chris. Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope that we'll start seeing something maybe, within the next month, regarding maybe some set photos of some of the actors showing up. Who said it? Who just said about Uncle Ben showing up? I wanted to was that Tom? Yeah. So I wanted to bring up real quick, because, and hopefully, once set photos come out, we may see some things going on. Because we know, Benedict's going to be there. Jamie Foxx is going to be there, most likely. This is, I think, the perfect time. And my son said it. And I love bringing in my son's feedback anytime to the show, because my son is diehard into following the news and the specs and all the releases. And he said this as well. This is the perfect time to bring in any hint towards Uncle. We know we got the small little hint in the Homecoming, the first film, about everything Peter said, everything that May's gone through. We know he was talking about losing Uncle Ben, but I think it's time that we finally get some substance behind it. This is the film, and I'm gonna top it off by saying this: if we see Spider-Man going through a wormhole into a multiverse where he runs into multiverse Uncle Ben, and see how that interaction is going to drive his emotions.
Right. That's a good one. That's a good call, man. I mean, again, anything's possible with the multiverse, and that's what's so exciting about what's coming up. It starts with WandaVision too, because that's going to directly lead into the Doctor Strange sequel. So, anyways, that is our news of the week from the kitchen, from the Captain Journalist Comics Cave. We have so much more left in the show, though, especially a segment we do each month called All In. This is All In, where we bring somebody from the community to tell us 3 books they're all in on: a Silver Age, a Bronze Age, and a modern book that they are all in on, whether it be speccing, whether it be flipping, whether it be getting their kind of their grail or what have you. This is All In, and we are lucky today to have Gomez, the Collector, or AKA Gomez the Comic Collector. I'm not sure which one he prefers, but he's definitely a comic collector. He definitely has some great things to show us today, Chris, and I am very excited to bring on Gomez, the Comic Collector. Gomez, how are you, man?
Yo, boy, I'm good, brothers. I'm good. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys giving me the invite. It was like a 30-hour notice.
Yeah, man. Last minute. Thank you so much.
It's all good. I'm happy to do this segment with you guys. I know you brought it up and shot me an email, and Journal hit me up, and Jeff hit me with the email. So anything for the community to support and get going, just knowledge base. I do watch a lot of off and on Journals information when it comes out. It helps out a lot of things when it comes to new people who collect. And I've reached out. People reached out to me as new collectors to give my input when it came to comics. So these comics that I chosen are stuff that I'm either worked on to try to get, or stuff that I have that I can't wait to finish and read or dissect it, and stuff that's current that I enjoy reading and picking up regardless.
Yeah. Now before we get into your comic books, we just want to say that you have your own channel as well. Plus you guest star on a bunch of other channels, and you're part of other groups as well. So click on the link below for Gomez, the Comic Collector.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
His YouTube link. He's part of a vast community. He's always giving some great knowledge himself. He's always giving input and his opinion, and he's always doing AOKs. Great guy. Really happy to have you on. So
appreciate it.
With that being said, we're going to start our all in right now.
All right.
And we're going to just kind of like go through again, silver, bronze, and modern. You're going to tell us about these books, why they're special to you, and what you're going to plan on doing. Are you going to flip them, keep them in your collections, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to get started with the Silver Age. We're going to bring you up on your single shot, and then Chris and I will come in after you're done talking about that, and then we'll move on to the next book.
Sounds good.
All right. You're good to go. Show us that Silver Age book.
Are you want me to show it personally, or do you have it? Because I sent you an email.
Oh,
I can get it. I can grab them.
You did send us pictures. That I did not download, so that's my fault.
So let me go grab them real quick. Hold on.
Okay. How about that? While you grab those, we have another segment we do.
Okay.
That we can roll in right now. Tom Tormey's Cosmic Minute. All right, we'll see you in a sec. Tom Tormey's Cosmic Minute. This is live TV, people. You got to be on the edge of your seat, kind of roll with the punches. So each week we do a segment called the Cosmic Minute with Tom Tormey. Tom Tormey gives us a juicy nugget of comic book history. And this week is super exciting and super informative, because I myself did not know that McDonald's ruined the Batman franchise. Did you know that, Chris?
I know now. I don't eat McDonald's, but this was a bummer, and I'll probably never eat McDonald's again just because of this.
So, and that may be the case for you all when you watch this as well. So check it out, the Cosmic Minute here.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Tom Tormey from Cosmic Comic History, and this is your Cosmic Minute. The Joel Schumacher series of Batman films get a lot of hate. People didn't like the corny one-liners, they didn't like the fluorescent-lit Gotham City, and they certainly didn't like the nipples on the Batsuit. Well, today, we're pointing our fingers at the real culprit behind why Batman went from being dark to dayglow. The fault doesn't lie with Joel Schumacher, Tim Burton, or even Warner Brothers. The fault lies in the greasy, secret sauce-slathered hands of Ronald McDonald. Despite not being geared towards children, and certainly dark in its own right, Batman 1989 was a marketing juggernaut that took the world by storm. Batmania gripped the globe. When 1992's Batman Returns rolled around, McDonald's, the largest toy distributor of the 90s via the Happy Meal, was looking to get in on the action. Seeing only a rough cut, and assuming that the final film would be family-friendly, they came to an agreement with WB to promote the movie. Batman Returns was arguably darker than its predecessor. The backlash was swift. Christian and family groups were in an uproar. They didn't want their babies playing with the grotesque Penguin and a hypersexual Catwoman. Warner Brothers and McDonald's were quick to distance themselves from the promotion. By the time the 1995 Batman Forever movie came around, McDonald's was so involved in production that they were given final say over all the costumes. So when you're watching Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, give Joel and Tim a break. Do what Americans have done for decades. Play McDonald's. I'm still Tom Torme, and that was your Cosmic Minute. Until next week, be well and stay safe.
All right. That again, Tom Torme delivers. Love that segment each and every week we do. That is, I had no idea. I was extremely. I mean, I was obviously we were all younger for Batman Forever. So I thought it was a good movie back then. I look at it now, it's garbage. But Batman and Robin was straight trash. So thanks a lot, McDonald's, for ruining what was a great franchise.
It's what's interesting, and I'm just kind of assuming with this. When you look at Batman Forever, I think it was kind of a blend between what Tim Burton was trying to do, that Schumacher tried to continue, and then when you look at Batman and Robin, it completely went to this next extreme. And that may be, considering what that partnership was doing through the filming of Batman Forever and how they wanted to take the tone and everything, it probably kind of shifted and built this, because I still think there were a lot of attributes that could have been set up well with Batman Forever, but it still took that much lighter, playful tone in totality where, Batman and Robin was just over the top. So I don't know if that may have played in to say, like, let's do some retakes, cut this, cut that, throw in this with Batman Forever. But I will say, I still have my special edition McDonald's glass mugs that they did for Batman Forever. I have them in my parents' house still, the complete set. So I still got something positive out of it. And the Batman Forever soundtrack, that was decent. We had some,
you know what? We got some. Yeah, you're right.
Something out of it. But
I know Seal Kiss from a Rose or whatever was your favorite track off of that, but whatever.
Method Man was on that soundtrack.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay, that's solid. That is solid. All right, well, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna do a little spinaroo and get back to Gomez. We're gonna do all in with Gomez, the comic collector. He's going to give us his Silver Age, his Bronze Age, and his Modern. Gomez, thank you again for joining us.
No side note on McDonald's, Mickey D's. I haven't ate McDonald's for almost 4 years. Yeah. It got me real sick. It got me real sick to the point where I got real sick. Some guy was washing his hands or not washing his hands with the restroom, touched my food. Yeah. I got sick from it. Yeah, I was sick for like almost 3 weeks. Just straight couldn't hold it. I could hold the food, but it was just going out the other way. And that was really bad. And I haven't ate McDonald's since. I've been making my own food. If you notice me on IG, I make my own food 90% of the time. I do not like fast food once an occasional, but McDonald's is a place that I kind of like. Yeah. I retired from a long time ago.
I think
I applaud you. That's good.
Like when you're like in your teens, it's like, I'm going to eat this every day.
Yes.
This is fast. This is awesome. And then you get to a certain age and you're like, I don't. And then you have an experience like you had, and you're definitely like, I'm out. I'm out.
I was like, never again. I said, doo-doo. It's doo-doo.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But all right. So what's not doo-doo though are the books that you've chosen for us, and I really appreciate you going and grab those for us. So
no problem.
Let's start our all in, Gomez. Let's you'll give us your silver, your bronze, and your modern. Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bring you up full screen. You're gonna share the book with us. Tell us what it is and what it means to you and why you're all in on the book. After that, we'll come in. Chris and I will give quick comments, and we'll move on to the next book.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
All right. The first book was in Silver Age is The Witching Hour. I do have a few of them. I've been trying to collect these off and on whenever I see them on the LCS. And this story right here is about 3 witches that tell each story. So based on 3 stories. Late like a year and a half ago, I've been trying to get them off and on. But this book I enjoy. I enjoy the artwork. I enjoy the stories that they put together. And it's just different. And during this time in holiday, I really like to reread some of the stuff that I have as opposed to Witching Hour, which I think they went to like 200 and something issues, I believe. But I've been trying to collect the ones that are probably like 50 and below if I can. So yeah, The Witching Hour.
So why the Witching Hour number 20? Why is that one so special to
Well,
you?
to be honest, I just picked this one up probably like 2-3 days ago.
Oh, okay.
So I've been slowly trying to get my collection towards the Witching Hour. I try to collect stuff that a lot of people don't collect right now, like Venom, Marvel, Thor, stuff in general. I do pick those up, but those are not my main concerns. I do them for a reading basis as well. But if I find these, if I have a Venom book in this book, I'll pick this book over a Venom book myself, per se, when it comes to the price. If these are like under like $10 to $12, I'll pick them up any time of the day. Sometimes I'll repick another one just because the conditions, because you can find it in better condition. And that one I could do, like you guys said later, a giveaway, or someone that's into in the future wants some horror books or something different. Hey, here, I got these extras here. I'll give them to you. They're not in great shape, but that's what. And I'm not a flipper. I do not flip. I do not look to try to make money. I think this hobby is, if I could afford it, I enjoy it without having to try to worry about making money for it.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, because we all buy doubles and triples as a collector, and I do trades more than anything. I don't do a lot of flipping myself per se.
But again, that's a good point. That's like, that helps you get to where you want to be in terms of your collection, which is great. Planet Arizona Comics. Neil Adams did some early Witching Hour covers. Did he do that one?
You know what? I think he did. I think you're right. He did do. I think he did do this. He did do this cover. Planet Arizona Comics. Yeah, he did. He did do this cover. And now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, Neil Adams, absolute legend. You know what I like about this book is it's not your usual, like, it's not what I would have thought the direction you would have gone, but obviously you kind of lean towards horror and stuff like that. So it's introducing into a whole new series that I know nothing about that I want to go check out. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then the little smaller, like 1 through 10, those are a little more pricey. But I'm patient collector. All you new collectors out there, don't try to run and get something when the hype is big. Be patient. You'll find it at LCS, a garage sale. You'll find it in areas. You'll find it people getting rid of it at a certain price compared to what you see. So just be patient when it comes to some of the Bronze Ages and Silver Age books.
Yeah, don't fall into that FOMO. All right, that's a great book, man. But I'm really excited about this next book you have for your Bronze Age. So we're going to bring you up. You're going to tell us all about this one.
All right. So this one is a Swamp Thing. I recently got into it probably like mid last year. I've been trying to collect it. This is issue actually 7. This is when actually Batman and Swamp Thing meet up. Actually, if you small information is 1 through 10. Bernie Wrightson does the artwork, interior art of the book and the exterior. So I do have issues 1 through 10. I just recently finished collecting 1 through 10, probably about 2-3 months ago. And I just can't put him down. I like Alec Holland. I like the way he is. He's a man of green, and this is like kind of like a horror, but like a background story. So I try to dig deep into knowing this character more.
Yo, the cool thing about that issue, and I saw this somewhere else, is that is, you mentioned that is the first time that Swamp Thing and Batman meet, right?
Yeah.
So that's
correct.
Yeah, and that's number 7. So that's, and Bernie Wrightson is a legend as well.
Yes.
So that's a great book, man. That is an awesome book to have right there. All right, and then for your Modern Age, what do you got?
All right, you ready to go? Let me see. I'll take it out of the plastic. So for the Modern Age, I got this one, Spawn. I went with this cover because it's October. But I'm rereading these. I'm at issue 59, I believe. But I'm rereading it with Greg Capullo. Greg Capullo, Tom McFarlane? They did a lot of the earlier issues. They've been teaming up for years. So Tom McFarlane's a great ass artist. I go with them because what's called because of on top of my head, I can't remember his name. See, I drew a blank. But a lot of his character, Al Simmons. There you go, Al Simmons. A lot of his character. He reflects a lot of what I've been through as a father, as situations, and even though it's not his kid, he kind of portrays it as his kid, and that's why I like a lot about Spawn. And I couldn't put it down when I first. So this mainly was one of the first reads I've read, and I pick up constantly. So this one's as a Modern Age, I just keep getting issues. I do have the current, and I'm still getting, it's still going on. So yeah. But yeah, that's what Spawn's a big guy for me.
Yeah, man. Especially Capullo. That Capullo run is fantastic. Is that
yeah.
issue number 88?
Yeah, that's issue 88.
Yeah, Planet Arizona Comics. That's a great issue, Gomez. So he agrees with you. Yo, man, those are some great books, and I love that you're the first person we've had on here that didn't pull a Marvel book.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, huh? Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I didn't pull no Marvel. It was all DC. DC. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm bad with Marvel. I just wanted to do something that I read that's different compared to everybody's Captain America, Wolverine.
Yeah.
I love Wolverine. I read Wolverine too, but I've been digging more outskirts, and I've been digging more Zatanna and a lot of more mythology and horror. I've been digging more deep into. I'm a big fan of it, but I don't really read it till earlier last year. I kind of dug into myself and did my research on these horror books and these books that are a little bit more darker.
Yeah. No.
Back label, baby.
What's that?
I like too that you're really the first person that we had on that didn't pull these big keys, and I think it speaks to your collecting style and you being a true reader. When you're talking about all in, and I really saw this as all in, on say a story arc or even a run. But what's interesting is you being all in on these things because you're really diving into the stories and diving into the characters and diving into these things in a way that fulfills your desire as a collector or a reader or a hobbyist. You're also doing something, and I go back to what you said, showing off the first book. You tend to look at stuff that doesn't have all the hype around it. So regardless if you are buying these books for any speculative reasons, you're actually doing something that's interesting that could be very important to those that do spec, because even though you're going after these things to read and to dive into the characters, you're going after a market that has a lot of growth potential.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like buying into some dollar stock that you think is, going to have that growth potential, but it's not like you're doing it purposely either. So, and just to let all the viewers know what I'm talking about, that's the horror genre. The horror genre has so much growth potential. We can use Marvel as an example, even though you didn't pick Marvel books, but we know that Marvel is really starting to go that horror route with the Multiverse of Madness, with the Hellstrom series and so forth. And look, if DC and Warner Brothers can continue that success and continue to use HBO Max as a solid platform like Marvel's doing with Disney Plus, there's a lot of growth potential besides the fact that, you're showing off some awesome Silver Age and Bronze Age books anyways that already have decent growth potential as well. And hey, look, I think when it comes to modern spawns, I do believe that especially around those numbers, there's lower print runs for some of your modern books. And plus, I mean, like you said, that the tag team of McFarlane and Capullo, I mean, that's something I look at McFarlane as a modern day Jack Kirby. Yes. And I think his greatness is going to grow over time.
Well, you see all his figures he does, that thing grew a lot. His figures, he's coming out with more and more, and he's doing a lot more DC. If you notice, he doesn't do a lot of Marvel. He does a lot of DC McFarlane toys. He's been big on that lately. This last arc that he's been doing. So I really enjoy what he's doing. And like you said, not just that, I would like to meet the guy one day. That is my Stan Lee. No joke. That is my modern age Stan Lee that I would like. I had a chance to meet Stan Lee. I missed out because the funds weren't there or whatnot. It's just during that time frame because he was expensive still. But if I could meet McFarlane right now, like in this time age going forward in the future for a con, I probably would jump on it in a heartbeat just because we don't know how long these guys have. You look at Michael Turner. Look at Michael Turner. What happened to him? He passed too damn soon. And if you look at his artwork and the way he was right there, he was a dope ass artist.
I agree.
So
he was in his 40s or 50s.
Yeah, I think he was in his late 40s, I believe.
Yeah, that's a damn shame. But you're right, man. That's a good call. I never thought about it this way, but McFarlane, I mean, he's had an influence on all of our lives here, the three of us at least, and I'm sure everybody watching this as well had a major influence and impact. And for you to say something like he's like our kind of like Kirby, I've never thought about that, but that is really, really well said. Really well said. So Gomez, we really thank you for coming on. You epitomize buy what you love. And you hear a lot of people saying that, and seeing that in action with you and the books that you pull. I know I speak for Chris and myself. We really appreciate that, you being here and you sharing this.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I'll be catching your show. I did hit my bell. I thought I hit my bell on your guys' show, but I hit the notification bell so I could catch the next week's show. And I'll be chiming in on the side panel whenever I get a chance.
Awesome,
and
man.
Appreciate you letting me come by with my 15 minutes of fame. You know,
well, we appreciate it. Y'all follow Gomez. We got his YouTube link down there. What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram, same thing. Gomez Comic Collector. The same courser. I try to keep it relevant because it's easier. I think Journal does the same thing where it's easier to see Instagram and YouTube to be easier to find me. Once you see me, just put Gomez Comic Collector. You see my Swamp Thing courser.
Sweet logo, by the way. Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Like I said, and then just look out on Sundays. I do my Sunday show with the East Meets West.
Yep.
Joker M21, New York Warrior, King of the Golden State, Josh Grab, and the Doom 143. So we do a little collab. We'll talk about what you guys do, and but a little different. But at the same time, I enjoy watching stuff to get different knowledge. You talked about the McDonald's thing. I did not know that. That's something I learned that I didn't even know about it. So everywhere, that's why this comic community is bigger than we know. But yet it's very helpful, and I have no grudge against anybody. I'm just here to collect like everybody else, and I have no beefs, no nothing, no cores. I'm just happy to collect, and any information you guys want to share or know, anytime you want to reach me, no worries, no issues, no nothing. I'm always here for the community, for you guys, you and Chris and Jeff. So I appreciate it.
Love it, man.
Thank you so much. I know you got a few subs. Tom Torme, who actually was the one that produced the segment on the McDonald's and Batman and Planet Arizona Comics. I think Kid Collector. So
one thing, if you check out my channel, my YouTube channel, I do something for just Halloween. I'm a different character. Just go check it out. Check that. It's different. I'm a different character. It's something that I wanted to bring because of the situation and make it fun for everybody. So you're not going to see this guy on my channel till probably November. So
well, we look forward to that. We'll check out what you got right now, though. Everybody, sum them up. Thank you so much, Gomez. You have a great night, man.
You too. You guys take care.
Peace.
That was awesome. I really like the books that he brought on. Again, it's like amazing that we didn't have any big like the Marvel keys that people normally do bring on, and he just brought a new angle, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. You know what else I love, Chris?
Hot books.
The top 10 hottest books of the week based off of Cover Price's data. And Chris, this is an interesting week, isn't it?
Yeah, man. The last couple of weeks have been pretty saucy, man. It's a really good mix of spices here going on.
All right, well I'm going to read off these spices and see what we make out of it. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Here we go. At number 10, we have Strange Academy number 1. The Campbell variant. We discussed Strange Academy with the Doctor Strange casting, and could it be Zelma? What's her last name? Stanton. Who knows? Only time will tell. At number 9, The Strange Talent of Luther Strode. This is an interesting image book that I am interested in checking out myself, but there's a lot of chatter about it being picked up. Number 8, we all know it. We all love it. Ultimate Fallout number 4. Number 7, Black number 1, which was, I do believe, it was in the top 3 last week. Number 6, Amazing Spider-Man number 300. We all know what that book is as well. Number 5, The Department of Truth, the Oswald Secret variant. I'm interested in reading this myself. Number 4 is the Strange Academy number 1, the regular cover. Number 3 is Thor number 8. Jane Foster reveals she is the new Thor, and she has cancer, which they are going to adapt in Love and Thunder, the next Thor movie. Number 2 is Black Panther Annual number 1. And number 1 is Batman 100, the 1 and 25 variant. It's a beautiful cover. Chris, now, we don't normally, go into every single book. This list comes out on Monday. Our show is on Friday. We like to dig in, and you pick the 3 most interesting books you've seen from this list this week. So, Chris, let's just get into it. How about it?
My man. Double M, Eminem, Miles Morales. Number 3, Ultimate Fallout 4. Look, this book has not gone anywhere. I just ran the numbers on this book a couple weeks ago, too. This book has not cooled down. This book is continue to stay hot and continue to increase in fair market value, even if it was just, I believe, between August to September, towards the end of September, it increased by maybe just 0.5% in fair market value average. Sales slowed down a little bit, but the value was staying. And I remember back in May when this thing first started shooting through the roof, people were like, oh, it's the hype is going to be a couple months. And nah, it's not slowing down. Now the sales have picked back up. It's back on the top 10. It sold 21 copies last week, $1,000 for a CGC 9.8. So that $1,000 mark is still sitting. Now this book could be picking up a little steam just in terms of sales numbers, not value, but sales numbers, due to the rumors that have been going around about Miles Morales showing up in the MCU. Now, I'm going to put my opinion out there on this. I don't believe we're going to see Miles Morales in the MCU anytime soon. If I'm wrong, I will come here, I will come on my channel, and I will be the first to admit I was dead wrong. But look, Sony isn't going to give up their property rights to share for some type of bargain sharing with Marvel Studios and Disney. I don't see that happening right now. We're on the heels of the video game coming out, and we know the production of Into the Spider-Verse 2 is, on the horizon here, and we're going to get that film sooner than later. This character has so much potential, growth potential, under Sony's umbrella for them to say, okay, hey, even if it's just 10%, we're going to give you 10% of anytime you use Miles Morales in a Marvel Studios production. I don't see it happening. They're already sharing, Spider-Man, and they're already allowing Venom and all that to come in. Now, do I believe that it's going to be set up at some point in time? Yes, but him showing up in Spider-Man 3, I just think is ridiculous. It's almost as ridiculous as saying Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to show up. But so look, I'm just putting that out there because I don't want people to get their hopes up on something happening. But the big point of me picking this book up is, regardless of all these rumors, this book is hot. And this character, repeat myself here, is not going away. And honestly, I actually believe that the anticipation of him showing up in the MCU so soon. Jeff, what did I say? I said I think give it between like 5 to 7 years before we see him in the MCU. I think that the excitement about him showing up in a Spider-Man 3 is because it just shows how hot the character is right now and how much people are demanding him.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think he will show up within 3 years in the MCU, to be honest with you. He's too hot of a character. Marvel sees the need. I mean, they're going younger. They're going diverse. And he's just such a great character. There's plans for him. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. I know you didn't say there's not plans for him. But I do believe there's plans. There are plans. I know you're like, absolutely. Just slow it down, everybody. It's not going to be anytime soon. I think it'll be within the next 3 years. And I think Spider-Man 3 is a definite possibility for this to happen. Tom Tormey brings up a good point that they did allude to him in Spider-Man Homecoming, where Donald Glover talks about his nephew living in the area. So, let's, I don't know.
Remember, though, Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, alluded to Spider-Man in 2008 as well. When did Spider-Man show up? 8 years later.
There's a big difference with that. The reason was there was no rights. This wasn't even a thing. Now they're both companies are benefiting. Okay, both companies are benefiting, and I guarantee if you poll fans and ask, hey, would you prefer Miles to be in his own universe, or do you want him in the MCU, like similar to what's going on with Spider-Man? Everybody, I would say 95% of people will pick the MCU. That being said, that is demand, and I guarantee you, I'm sorry I'm steamrolling you, but I guarantee you it'll be within 3 years.
Okay, so one, let's get this clear. He's not showing up in Spider-Man 3. Do you agree with that?
No, I think it's a possibility. I'm saying I'm going out there. I
Well,
think
that's next year though, so that's in just over a year.
I think it's
So
a
that's not
possibility.
3 years. That's basically 14 months.
But I'm saying that is a possibility. I'm not saying it's
Okay.
a
Okay. You're not. Against.
But I
another
said
thing
within 3 years, and that falls within the 3
Right.
years.
And another thing is that this isn't about Sony using Miles in their own universe and having nothing to do with Marvel. It's about them not oversaturating the market because Sony is already using Miles in the Into the Spider-Verse animated. So I think that's probably why. And remember this. Remember just this last year, the talks about Peter Parker's Spider-Man being done with the MCU when Tom Holland says, regardless, I'm going to be playing him, even if it's just for Sony. Now, I do believe and I do agree that Marvel has the upper hand here. Marvel has the upper hand, but I don't think we give Sony enough credit to say that, look, we want to hold on to it as much as we can. So all I'm saying is that I think both parties are involved. I agree with everything you said. I agree with the fact that he's a hot character. There's a lot riding on him being in the MCU because that's where the money truly is long-term, longevity-wise. But Sony is, you got to understand, and now I don't know 100% the details of this, but say this. If Miles Morales, the property, the intellectual property, is agreed upon contractually with Marvel Studios, it comes down to percentages. It means that Marvel Studios is getting a percentage. That also means that Marvel Studios is going to be getting a percentage of anything Into the Spider-Verse moving forward. So again, that's something that Sony really has to weigh out and say, not only are we going to say we're going to give you a percentage of the live action version of Miles Morales, but we have this. What did Into the Spider-Verse gross?
It was ridiculous, and it was well done.
$1 billion?
What's that?
Did it hit $1 billion? I don't think it was.
I don't think it did, but I think that's they're animated. It was incredible what they did with Spider-Verse, right? But they can't be trusted with their own properties. I'm sorry, and
I agree with that too.
Venom was a subpar movie. Venom was subpar, right? And for you to think that they're going to oversaturate the market by having the Spider-Verse and the Spider-Verse 2, as well as having a live-action Miles Morales in the MCU, I don't think that's the case. They're going to have Cindy Moon in Spider-Verse 2, guaranteed. They're also talking about having a Cindy Moon TV show. So the oversaturation argument, I don't buy into because I think they could all have their pieces of cake. They can eat them too. Whatever analogy or phrase you want to use, I really believe, again, I'll say it, I'm obviously passionate. I think Miles will be in the MCU within 3 years and possibly in Spider-Man 3. Maybe not as a major character, but an introduction, like a Captain America Civil War, where Spider-Man was first introduced in the MCU. But
my thoughts on that too is that, Peter Parker's Spider-Man is still extremely fresh in the MCU. And that's another oversaturation of Spider-Mans. 2 Spider-Man in the MCU when we haven't even had Peter Parker and Venom or Peter Parker and Carnage build to that height. I think the one thing that we agree on is I think we agree on all the what's the word to use? We agree on the process. I think we disagree on the timing. Because I'm on all the key points of why Miles belongs in the MCU and why it will happen. I think we agree on, but I just see more. I see more of a slippery slope between Sony and Marvel trying to play their cards right and Sony trying to hold on to things as much as they can, even though in the back of their head they know that Marvel Studios is daddy at the end of the day.
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Collecting Chaos, for keeping us honest with the data here. $375.5 million. That's surprisingly low. But again, I think Sony needs the MCU more than the MCU needs Sony.
Absolutely. And absolutely. I do agree.
Right here, what this segment, though, is the top 10 hottest comic books of the week that you picked. And that was just our first comic book. All right, moving on from Ultimate Fallout 4. By the way, I'm glad we got into an argument. We always agree on everything. All right?
Right. Yeah. Interesting though, and I want to say this to everyone watching. We were disagreeing, but agreeing with things at the same time. And I want to let everyone know, see, guys, you can actually have this big issue, right? And you don't need to see it black and white. There was a lot of agreements in there why we were disagreeing on some things too. So I thought that was awesome. But yeah, funny how this hot book, there's a lot around it. So, but yeah, moving on, number 2
as well here. All right, so moving on, it's more MCU goodness too, though.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Okay, so my second pick was Thor number 8 from the 2014 Thor run. First reveal of Jane Foster's identity as the new Thor. This is when she did reveal that she was dying of cancer. Amazing cover. I do not know who that artist is, but awesome cover. This book is really, it's not really going for much. Like a raw copy has been selling for anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. You can still pick it up decently. At 9.8 did sell for 115 this last week. That was a high on the census. But look, we know what movie hype does. And this is one book that you're going to see some ebb and flows. Natalie Portman just came out talking about the fact that her character is going to be battling cancer. Okay. So what do? You go for that book. I mean, that's literally what this book is. So you got to take that into consideration. Like I always say, take heed. Don't go out and buy this book and think that just because it's hot and it made the top 10, that it's a book that you should pay $30, $40, $50 for or whatsoever. Look, if you're willing to dish out, 10, maybe 15 bucks, hold on to it, especially if it's in really high grade. This is a black cover. I think this is a modern book, though, that is getting hot simply because of speculative hype. I think this book is going to hold some value over time. Do I ever think it's going to be like $100 raw book or $200 raw book? I don't necessarily think so. I mean, hey, look, in 10 to 20 years, it could definitely maybe start pushing that. But I definitely think this is a book that you're going to see for a nice premium price. You're not going to really see it in back bins or bargain bins, for under $10, maybe ever again in high grades. And if this movie comes out and has success, because I know this character in the comics, there's a lot of loud hate, but I think there's a majority of people that really enjoyed the story of Jane Foster's Thor. And I know that there's been a lot of loud hate about, oh, that's not Thor. How dare there? I don't want to get into all that. But look, and I know there's been a lot of issues with Natalie Portman's portrayal and her relationship with Marvel Studios in the past. But look at what Waititi did with Thor Ragnarok. If he can come in again and make magic, and we can forget about the first 2 Thor movies and be blown away by this, it really has the potential to drive this Jane Foster character.
100%. We gotta. I just want to give a shout out actually to Roger Levesque and Thorough. Thanks for showing up, guys. Really appreciate it. This community is awesome. And then there's Roger saying what's up to Thorough. But yeah, look. Planet Arizona Comics brings up a good point. This whole run needs to be in everyone's collection. It was at the time was like, oh, why are they going to make a female Thor?
Yeah, right.
But it ended up being really good, and I agree. I agree. Planet Arizona Comics. And I just picked up this book the other day for $8. I was really happy to see it. By the way, Collecting Chaos, Russell Dauterman did that cover.
Nice,
fantastic cover. I'm super psyched for this film, guys. Again, Taika Waititi, just such a unique mind that comes to film. Just such a unique kind of guy that brings to life this imagery and these tones. Like, I don't know if y'all seen Jojo Rabbit, fantastic film, hilarious. Check it out. But also, he's also been he directed episodes of The Mandalorian as well. But his work on Ragnarok was just incredible. Super psyched to see Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
that is why this book, Thor number 8, is hot. And moving on, Chris, what do we got?
All right, number 1. This is where I bring my skepticism in, and we really look at, why this is hot. Looking at, modern. I don't call them gimmicks, but so many people call them gimmicks. short-term value, long-term value, what it means to invest in a book like this. My number one pick was the Batman 100, the 1 in 25 Jimenez variant. This book sold 56 copies. That's about a 75% increase from last week. Fair market value dropped, though. So sales increased, but price went down. It went down from 68 last week to 45 for that high grade raw. And this is where we really question long-term value. Now, when you think about sales increasing, you could think, well, it must be that, demand is increasing. When demand increases, you think that supply decreases. But the thing here that you really got to look at is this is a new book. Although it is a limited, print run, there could be a lot of variables involved that are driving the price of this book down. And that could be that once, we could have had just a few days. When you think of a market and the validity of a market, you can look at one day, especially stock market. The stock market can change from day to day. That's the same with, any type of comic book, especially modern comic books such as this. So if the book is steadily moving and it's pushing up to that fair market value of 68, right? But then it hits a threshold of, say, $68, and people are saying, okay, well, I'm backing out now. Now it's getting a little bit too high. I'm not really willing to pay that much. I can wait. You get a couple of days where sales start to drop. And what happens then? Because demand is cooled off, price starts to drop. And once that price starts to hit market equilibrium again, then you get people putting their money in again. So what I see this happening is what we call in economics and finance as market equilibrium, okay? And that's where something hits the market and demand drives it up. But like I just said, I'm kind of repeating myself. People start pulling away. But once that price settles, you get more buyers in, and then the price kind of sits there. It hovers at that market equilibrium. It hits that fair market value that is true to form. You get 56 people buying the copy around that price within the week. Now, what does this mean long term? We really don't know. We can't sit and say if this book is going to hold this value 6 months from now, a year from now, 6 years from now. But the one thing that I think is extremely positive about this, and which makes these situations of these modern variants, the 1 in 25, 1 in 100s, what makes it extremely different about the 90s is this. This is extremely healthy for the primary market because people keep doing it. Regardless if this price drops off on this specific book, it's not hurting the primary market because there's going to be another one next week. There's going to be another 1 in 25 the week after that, and the week after that. It might be Batman. It might be, Spider-Man. It might be Marvel or DC or Image. The point that I'm making is that the primary market is benefiting from the fruits of these types of marketing products right now in the variant genre. So regardless of what they're doing on the secondary market, there's been no burnout on the primary market. And look, we have been in what I call the age of the variant for over a decade now. And yeah, I mean, it's continuing to pick up steam. But to me, there's no sign of fatigue, and there's no sign of anybody getting tired of this and pulling out saying, I'm just not buying into variants anymore. Because, I mean, they're steamrolling. They are steamrolling.
So basically what you're saying is this is still a desirable book, but at a certain price, right?
Well, there's the two factors that I want everyone to understand. And that one factor is that, yes, even though the book may be dropping off in fair market value and it's not going to hold essentially the same type of long-term value that it does when these books first hit the shelf. You have that FOMO. You have so many people going out of it. You have maybe, flippers and speculators that are buying multiple copies, selling to those that are so driven by FOMO that drives that initial price up. Everything cools off and balances out to that market equilibrium. But like I said, second piece of this is to understand that just because you see those prices dipping on the secondary market doesn't mean that the primary market is still not benefiting from the fruits of these types of books and genres. And when I say genre, the genre of the variant, the gimmick market, so to say. I think that market is extremely fruitful right now, and I don't see it cooling off anytime soon.
Yeah, either do I. I think a lot of it has to do with COVID, where people have, they're not going out as much. Those of us who do have jobs or are fortunate to have jobs, and they're able to spend money on kind of things that they normally wouldn't buy. And obviously, that's why the whole market as a whole has gotten hot recently, right?
Right.
But I hear what you're saying, and I don't think it's a negative thing in the industry whatsoever, especially if it kind of gives a boost to the publishers, because we want them to continue to be producing these comic books, right? This is what we love. We love collecting these books. And if that is a part of it now, if that is part of the business model, I think it's important that it's successful for all of us. And a 1 in 25 variant like this, it may have dropped. It's down to 65. What was it at its high fair market value?
No, it was 68. That was the high that it hit. Now it's down to 45.
45, I'm sorry. So that's an indication it's still a desirable book.
Right.
But again, at a certain price. And you're right, everybody goes after them because it's the FOMO, then you have the flippers as well. So,
yeah.
But.
And just as a final statement to this, and this goes to me always being that voice of reason to those that get salty, about something that is different than how you collect. And that's all. I'm not saying one way or the other. Like, people just don't like different forms of collecting that's different than theirs. They think that something going on in the industry is hurting what they're doing. So, for example, people that get mad about variants, I mean, here's one variable, okay? And I'm not saying it happens all the time or this is directly correlated, but there's a strong possibility that if a certain issue has a variant that attracts the FOMO, to the variant instead of the standard issue, then look, there's going to be more of that standard cover A at your local LCS for you to pick up for cover price. So, or people are putting more money into, certain things. Look, I tell you right now, the market in general is hot. Blue chip books, Silver Age, Bronze Age, modern books are hot. Comic books are hot. Yeah. But I'll tell you, if everyone that collected variants started just going after silver, bronze, and copper age books, those books would be even higher because you'd have more people buying those. So I think we have a well-balanced industry right now where there's a lot of people collecting for different reasons, and it just keeps all of the sub-markets healthy, and I'm all for that, man.
Absolutely. I love what Roger Levesque says here. There's no wrong way to collect. If anyone says there is, then they are collecting for the wrong reasons. Absolutely. You can't dog people for what they do or what they go after unless it's hurting other people, right? So well said. And then, Planet Arizona Comics has a good point on variants. I love a good variant. It gives me a choice on which cover to buy, and also good for the companies because I might buy a book I normally wouldn't because of a great variant cover. Absolutely 100%. You guys all bring up great points. With that being said, this has been our top 10 hottest comic books of the week based off of Cover Price's data. We'll be back again next week with this, and it will be a new and interesting list, I'm sure. Right, Chris?
Absolutely. I have a feeling that a few of those are going to be up there again next week, though.
Yeah, because they were on the week before and the week before and the week before. All right. Moving on to Q&A. We don't have much chatter going on in here in terms of questions or anything. There's a lot of chatter going on. But, a lot of, I don't know. I just want to give shout-outs. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all you guys watching. Sith Lordy's here. He's another one we watch as well. Really appreciate you being here. Kid Collector as well. Tom Tormey, thank you so much for each week, the Cosmic Minute. You guys, we'll have that posted as its own little thing. On Wednesday, we do it on every new comic book day. Absolutely, Sith Lordy. Tom Tormey, have you visited the Midtown Comics Queens location? I'm from Rockaway. Is it worth the trip? Tom Tormey, it is. I've been there the past 2 weekends. Everybody, just so you know, you all know Midtown Comics probably. I think they have 3 locations in the city of New York, but in Queens, outside of the city, they opened up kind of it's kind of like an outlet. They don't sell new issues there. It's all back issues. And Tom, I'm not kidding you, man. I was telling Chris in the pre-show here that I spent 3 hours each week just digging through long boxes there. I found some gems, man, and it's definitely worth it for you to check out. Again, they do not have new issues. They have comic book supplies, they have toys, and they have a ton of back issues, including 99-cent issues. So
that sounds like my type of.
Yeah, you would get lost in there. Not lost; it's not huge, but you would absolutely just kind of start focusing on digging through those long boxes. Tom, hit me up, man. Actually, if you want, we'll go check it out together. Get a slice of pizza on the corner once we're done. So yeah, it's worth the trip. Isaac, Jeff, what is your favorite grade book in your collection? My favorite graded book in my collection. Shoot, I got some books coming that are going to be graded actually in their Silver Age. I'm going to get back to you on that. Chris, what is yours?
ASM 129. Yep.
That was your grail. That was your grail.
That's my grail. Now, I mean, I know I got my FF 48. But yeah, I mean, ASM 129. That's my guy. It's special to me. So. Absolutely,
man. That's a hard book to find, and I'm really happy you got your. I was surprised when you announced that because it was kind of out of the blue for me. I knew you've been talking about it. Hey, I got it, which is awesome. By the way, Roger Levesque, just letting you know, the Midtown Comics in Queens only open Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So just be aware of that. Planet Arizona Comics, not a question, but just want to congratulate Jeff on those great grades he got on those CGC books. Dude, man, I was shocked. I absolutely was shocked. Again, when I went through those pre-screens with you guys, I was like, afterwards, I'm like, I'm an idiot because that was my first submission to CGC. I'm like, there's no way these are coming back 9.8s, and 3 of them came back 9.8s, and a 9.6 and a 9.4. So I'm really happy with that. Collecting Chaos, thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to catch us on the Rewind, comment, like, all that good stuff, and we hope to see you again next week. Planet Arizona needs an ASM 129, great book to have. Is Isaac Maynard here? I do believe he has an amazing Fantasy 15 that he likes telling everybody about. So yeah. Anyways, that's looking like that is our show for the week. Tom told me I am not going to be in the city tomorrow, just letting you know, but I would love to go with you guys. Absolutely. Sorry if you talked about this, but how do you feel about the upcoming DC Future State event? You know what? I saw some images on Instagram about this event. I have not read up on it at all. I see there's a new Wonder Woman. She's a Brazilian Wonder Woman. I see a new Superman costume. I saw it almost looks like a Batman Beyond costume. I don't know. I got to read up on that a little bit, Roger Levesque. I mean, I lean towards Marvel. I feel like DC can be stale at times, and if they're kind of spicing it up a bit, I'm all about it. What about you, Chris?
It's so hard to gauge anything right now without actually diving into the books and the stories and understanding what's going on the pages, because I think there's always been, especially over the last 20 plus years with comics since the mid 90s, how do you keep things fresh? And do you go so far out in right field, like, what this DC future could be? Or is it done right to where it works? And I look at Marvel and how they did the Ultimate line in the early 2000s, and it worked. I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man was just an amazing. I mean, I read it after it all released. I bought it all the trades, and I read it in like a couple months, the whole run. So when comic book publishers tend to get creative and think outside of the box, they just have to do it right. And I don't think I can really speak on it other than that until there is a product, and it manifests, and we could say this is good and this is not good. So you need to have the people behind the scenes, like we see Marvel with the Kevin Feige. I think Jim Lee, really being in the role that he's been in with DC is is really overseeing a lot of positive direction when it comes to the comic books and what we get when it comes to the art and the stories. So I think that involvement is going to give me hope that this is going to be a positive thing. And I think the industry is evolving in a way to where we're finally getting to this age of storytelling where we can be modern, we could think outside the box, and yet we could still take precedent in what came before us and really mold it into something that speaks to hobbyists and collectors right now, young or old, for the most part. So that's where I'm putting my feet down in the ground, standing firm, hoping that it's going to be something like that. We shall see.
Yeah, I'm all about shaking it up, doing new fun things as well. I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, but I'm all about it. By the way, Roger Levesque is with a group 3 Men in a Basement. The link is below for 3 Men in a Basement. Roger Levesque it's called The Cranky Canadian. He does a live show each week. I believe it's on Mondays. Bumps up against Monday Night Football, I think. But Roger, drop a comment in there. But we have your link in the description below. Everybody sub them up. 3 Men in a Basement. They do a lot of fun, like unboxings, a lot of fun live shows. They go check out stores. They do a lot of cool stuff. It looks like they're bringing Red X from the Teen Titans cartoons to DCU. Yes, that Teen Titans number 23 is a hot book right now because of that. And by the way, we got confirmation, as we do, Isaac Maynard does own an Amazing Fantasy 15. And did you all know that Isaac Maynard's Amazing Fantasy 15 is a 9.0? Isn't that right, Chris? Something crazy.
9.0.
I just love that I know somebody that has an Amazing Fantasy 9.0. Yep. Oh, by the way, apparently, 3 Men in a Basement does Nickelback clips as well. They're huge Nickelback fans. I'm not sure if that's because Roger Levesque is Canadian. I don't know. That could be possibly why. So, anyways, just sub them up. Also, Sith Lordley's got a show. I think it's Spine Ticks. I don't know if we have that down there, but we'll put that in the comments afterwards, or in the description below. Anyways, that is our show for the week. We appreciate y'all for